Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Wednesday, May the 12th. I'm Gary Stevens. We are very pleased once every quarter to have this man join us, as well at times with other members of the Ottawa County Road Commission. He is Alex Doty. He is the main spokesman for the commission. He joins us via the Zoom connection. Alex, good morning. Welcome back to WHTC.
Good morning. How are you today?
We are well. Hopefully you and everybody at the commission is doing well, and construction season is in full bloom. So many of the projects are state projects. Commission has to work, sort of hand in glove with some of those projects, but there are some other county projects as well. A lot of them is just resurfacing, but at times to time, and I point out the one just west of Hudsonville where, 48th has got to be blocked off a little bit because culverts fail. And, hey, they can't last forever.
Right. That's one of the things that, is part of the work that we're doing is, making sure that those get replaced. And we, a lot of times, coordinate that kind of work with, in advance of a resurfacing project. So, if we have to go in and replace a culvert, or if we know one needs to be replaced prior to it failing, we can go in there, do that work, replace it, and get that out of the way, say, before we go in and resurface a road. That way we're not cutting into a road that was just resurfaced and, ruining that freshly paved surface, so to speak. So it's all about timing and coordination and making sure that, we get in there and do projects kind of as they make sense.
If you got a question about Ottawa County roads, Alex Doty will be happy to answer it at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. Keep in mind, if you have maybe a question about I-196 or US 31 or M45, hey, wait a minute. Alex can hopefully answer it, but he's like the rest of us. It's a state situation. And also, I'll put this caveat ahead. You got to complain about railroad crossings. Alex feels your pain. He can't help. I mean, he could put the pressure on, say, our friends down in Florida, but federal law says those railroad crossings have to be dealt with by the company. And let's see if we can get them moving along Cottonwood and Chicago Drive. That's become the bad one now.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because we do see, on our Facebook page or calling into our office, people that do bring that up and wonder about those. And like you said, that is something that, unfortunately for the rest of us drivers, that's something that's up to the railroad and up to their scheduling. And so we're kind of at the whim of whatever they choose, and so we kind of understand that. And, hopefully the residents do as well. We'd like to see those fixed as much as anybody else, but sometimes you just kind of have to wait for whatever they decide to do.
616-395-1450 if you have a question for Alex Doty of the Ottawa County Road Commission. You talked about timing and cooperation with other entities such as the Michigan Department of Transportation. How closely does the commission work with, say, MDOT to be able to say, okay, let's put an example, all right? MDOT's going to resurface I-196, and that's in the books right now. They're in Allegan County right now, dealing with the chiropractic condition of I-196 westbound/southbound from the Ottigan Street overpass all the way to Douglas. I call it chiropractic because you drive that route and you don't need to have your back altered. It already does that for you. But say, for example, later on, and probably next year, if not the year after that, they'll be working on redoing I-196 westbound between Hudsonville and Zeeland. Do you sort of have to work hand in glove with MDOT on that, so that say, okay, they're working on that, let's not do anything on some of the maybe roads that need to be used as detours or alternate routes, because it just frustrates motorists, Alex, if the main trunk is being worked on and the suggested or possible alternate route is being worked on at the same time. It's like, come on, we can't get from point A to point B. There's no way to do it because they're both under some construction.
Yeah, we do, try to coordinate with them as much as possible to avoid situations like that, because like you say, one thing you don't want to have is somebody get off a road that's being closed for construction or detoured, and then you're onto another project. So, those kinds of things we do try to, hopefully partner with them to avoid and make sure things like that don't happen. There are other instances where, we do have projects booked 5 years in advance sometimes, and sometimes the state will come in and do a project because they get funding for it right away, or, it might come in, after we had already planned something. So in that case, it's just, everybody kind of has to work together to, minimize delays as much as possible. But, when we can, we do like to coordinate so that we do alleviate issues for motorists, because, as much as people might think we get joy out of putting the orange cones up and, causing traffic backups and delays, we have to drive those roads too. And, we're oftentimes in those same traffic patterns. So, we all feel the pain just as much as anybody else and want to avoid that as much as possible.
616-395-1450 if you have a question for Alex Doty of the Ottawa County Road Commission. Alex, I'm going to bring this up. It was a caller last week when we had Holland City Manager Keith Van Beek on talking about garbage placements, placement of garbage containers, and wanted to tell Keith that, why don't we make sure that people know, don't put the garbage containers in the roadway because it blocks and it's going to cause some problems. I pointed out that sometimes you got to put it in the roadway because you got cars parked along the side of the street, and it's kind of hard for the garbage guy to pick up the thing. But it brings to the point of trying to put things on county roadways, and garbage containers is just as much as anything. There's things you can do, but for the most part, things you shouldn't be doing on the county road right of way.
Correct. There is, it's a good point you bring up, and it's something, especially in the winter time, we run into more often than not, because people have to put those cans so close to the road because the snow banks pile up, and our trucks sometimes hit those, and it's something we don't want to see happen. So we do ask people try to keep those back as far as possible. And then to your other point, the road right of way, that is a spot where we ask that people, if they're going to do any kind of work or place items there, they technically should contact us and get a permit for that work beforehand. If they're doing any work, whether it's in the road or along that shoulder, which might be in that road right away, it's best to ask and call us to make sure you're in the clear before doing anything. That way you're not causing any issues or having a problem there. Technically, property owners are allowed to install a mailbox within the road right of way, but beyond that, that's really the only object that is allowed to be placed there. We tell people, don't put landscaping in that right of way space. Don't put, sprinklers and fencing and that kind of stuff. Because if it gets damaged, or if, we have to take it out or move it, we're not responsible for that, just because that space is for us and our the road edge, and then for utilities to use that space as well if they need to get in there. So it's for safety and for utilities and road work.
Jurisdiction question real quick, and we've talked about in the past, Alex, about the fact that, again, if it's a road which has a designation, M40, an M road, or an I road, or even business loop road, that's a state thing. We've talked about that. In a little stretch of Ottawa County, basically from Hudsonville down to the Allegan County line, there's the county road designation. Basically, the route to Allegan is marked. But for the most part, everything else is county road except and clarify this for me if you can, Alex, except for example, a road in the city of Holland or in the city of Zeeland or the city of Grand Haven. I believe those are maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, those are only 3 jurisdictions where they have their own streets department and the county works with them, but it's not a county jurisdiction.
Correct. So like you said, if it's like the city of Zeeland, city of Holland, city of Grand Haven, they all have their own municipal DPW departments, and the city, they're responsible for paving and maintaining streets and things like that. But everything that's outside of those city boundaries, our responsibility takes over. With the exception, you say, of the interstate highways or the M routes or anything like that. Anything beyond that, we're responsible for, and we maintain and do work on. We do have a contract with the state to do maintenance on the state routes in Ottawa County. So that would be, your mowing, your guardrail work, your roadside maintenance, pothole patching, that sort of thing. But that's just so they don't have to go out there and have their own crews do it. They work with us and have our people do it, since we're already here and we have the crews and the equipment to do that kind of work. So they have a contract with us. But beyond that, that's their baby, so to speak. And they're the ones that decide when they do construction. The ones that decide when improvements are made, that sort of thing.
The reason why I brought that up, I was just thinking of the municipalities that still have their own police units. They're not contracted with the county for sheriff's units. And that's why I only mentioned Holland, Zeeland, and Grand Haven. I'm not certain, the other cities in our area, Ferrisburg, Coopersville, and Hudsonville. I'm not certain what the deal is, whether, and that's why I didn't put them in, whether or not
they all have their own responsibilities for their streets as well. So, anything within those borders, they would maintain. And, say if we get a call from somebody and we find out that, the issue that they report to us, say for a request for services within those borders, we report that issue to the correct municipality, or, if it's a case where it's a border street with Kent County or Allegan County, sometimes we'll report that with them as well and let them know if it's an issue, because there are some spots where jurisdiction is on, one side of the road, it's us, the other side, it's Allegan or Kent County. So it just depends where you're at in the county and who's responsible for that stretch.
616-395-1450 if you have a question with Ottawa County Road Commission spokesman Alex Doty. Interesting project going on in the far northeast corner of Ottawa County, trying to refurbish a bridge, but not in the quote-unquote new traditional way of steel and concrete.
No,
something entirely different. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we're doing something a little, I call it the new old-fashioned, so to speak, because we're doing a new bridge and we're using old-time materials that you wouldn't think are used anymore. We're doing a timber bridge, and it uses wood instead of concrete and steel and that kind of material to do a bridge. It kind of goes together like Lincoln logs, and it's more cost efficient for us, and it's lasts just as long as a typical bridge would, and it's ideal for a location such as that up in a more rural setting where they don't have, say, the traffic of a Lakewood Boulevard or anything like that, where you'd want a more heavier duty project or something like that. So our guys are working on that with the company that's putting together, that provides the materials for that, and kind of learning on the fly how to put that together. And we're kind of hoping that this is something that maybe we can do other places if it proves to be successful. It's kind of a learn in progress to see how it goes, but so far everything seems to be going well, and our guys are enjoying the process of learning how to do it. It's kind of like Legos or Lincoln logs, putting it all together, and it's kind of like being a little kid sometimes, I bet.
616-395-1450. Let's get to a call. Good morning. You're on the line with Alex Doty of the Road Commission.
Hello, Alex. This is probably a very simple question. We have streets, we have a sign on 160th Street that says speed limit 45 ends, and then about 500 feet later, there's a stop sign. I don't know if that's in your jurisdiction or if that matters, but just a curious question. That's all. Thank you.
I appreciate the call. Yeah, somebody may have missed a memo on that. I don't know. Sounds weird to me there, Alex.
Yeah, that's something, I took note of that, and I can, have somebody go look at it to see if that's supposed to be like that, or, if that's something that's out of the ordinary. But, usually everything, we have GPS and stuff and know what signs are supposed to be where. So, who knows, but that's interesting there.
Let's see if it's also keep in mind when you say 160th, no, that's right. It is Ottawa County because there is no 160th in Allegan. They don't go that high. So yeah, it's going to be something that have to be looked at. Interesting question. I'm going to ask this, and then we'll go to the break.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about cooperation, especially dealing with maybe making sure that a county project isn't going out at the same time a nearby state project goes along. What about working cooperatively with two neighboring county road commissions on county roads? And I'm talking about really to me, the two big roads that are county line roads, Kennewa with Kent County and Ottawa with Allegan County. When it does need to be fixed, is it a case of, okay, we have to get together on this so that we have a joint effort? Or is it a case of Kent says, okay, it's your turn to fix Kennewa, or Allegan says it'd be our turn to fix Ottawa? Is it a cooperative venture, or is it simply maybe taking turns? Especially, and I know Kennewa Avenue, near just south of Granville in the Wyoming area, that's gone. I have a funny feeling that might need some work.
Yeah, so that's one of those situations where, depending on the side of the road it's on, there's the one road commission has jurisdiction over another. So there are stretches of Ottawa Street, which Allegan County is the one that would maintain that. And then the same holds true for the other borderline streets. So depending on, the side of the road that the border falls on the map is which commission would take jurisdiction over that. So it's all about, kind of looking at the map and determining who's responsible for that portion of it. And so that, that's the same for, say, up in Muskegon County, where we have borderline roads as well. It's all, depending on which side the border falls on the street would be what side the road commission who would take care of that.
I don't know. I was bringing up Kennewa because, let's put it this way, both sides the repair. So maybe it's a case of, okay, we both got to take care of this, and we'll pour in some, you pour in some, we'll choose the contractor, and gotta play nice. I think more than anything else. Let's get to a call before we get to a break. Good morning. You're on the line with Alex Doty of the Road Commission.
So if he would run that address about the wooden bridge over one more time, and I just turned the radio on and I missed that. But the question I wanted to ask him is about timing of the red lights on 31 running through Holland here. I'd like to see the guy that's in charge of that get fired, get somebody new that can set a stopwatch or something. I don't enjoy sitting at a red light with semis coming up behind me. Them guys got to learn how to shift and do everything that runs this red light business. This is terrible.
We'll get Alex's thoughts. Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. First of all, before we talk about traffic signals, where's that location of the bridge?
Yeah, that bridge, if somebody's interested in taking a nice drive, that's up in Chester Township on 32nd Avenue. They're doing that work there. So if you go up north on 32nd Avenue, kind of near Conklin there, that's where that one's at. And then to answer the second question about those lights on 31, that would be MDOT. They're the ones that are responsible for those light timings on the state routes. So that's something that I encourage anybody that has an issue with that to reach out to MDOT to see about, them changing timings on those.
Yeah, and that's also involving the timing issue. And I know some motorists are not happy about Business 196 near the I-196 junction, those lights can be a little frustrating. But again, unfortunately, I think Alex would agree. He's frustrated, but it's a state thing. And it's on John Richards' lap. John, of course, is the MDOT spokesman in Grand Rapids. He's the one that will have to face the music.
Yeah, I'll punt that one to him on his next appearance.
Sounds great. Got time for one more call at 616-395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with Alex.
Yeah, Alex, I got a good question for you. On the corner of 8th Street, East 8th Street, and Chicago Drive, where Chicago Drive turns into 8th Street. You've also got 8th Street coming to the west to join in. But there's a center turn lane there for somebody that's going to go to, Verhaeg Motors. And the people that turn left to get onto 8th Street like to use that lane as part of the turn lane. Well, I've seen one car in probably the past 15 years that actually use that left turn. Could we have that changed over from a left turn lane to get into Verhaeg to an actual lane that goes down Fairbanks for the left turn for Fairbanks?
All right, we'll see if we can answer that question. Alex, is that something within the realm of the County Road Commission, or is that something for maybe the Holland Department of Streets?
I'd have to look and see, where that's at, depending on the boundary and where that's at, if that's in the city or not. And depending on that, that would be who would be responsible for taking care of that. Because sometimes when we get so close to those city and county border spots, it's tough to say. So unfortunately, I have to look at it.
And to be honest with you, you're right. That doesn't get used that terribly often. But then again, we're talking about a heritage a business in Verhaeg Motors right there. And, let's put it this way, it's not easy from people from the west or to get into Verhaeg Motors off Chicago Drive. So, I don't know whether or not that could be a feasible answer or not. Final thing, Alex, congratulations to the Ottawa County Road Commission. You got some awards from the County Road Association of Michigan.
Yeah, we're always pleased to be recognized by our peers for, the hard work that everybody here at the Road Commission does. It's always good to go notice that stuff you're doing is appreciated and, innovative and, worthwhile. I know we were recognized for our chip seal program that we started up, our own program here this past year, and then also some collaborative efforts for COVID-19 testing with the Ottawa County Health Department, as well as work with several, or I guess more than several, I believe 15 county road agencies to work together during the winter months in case there was a need for coverage and service if a garage or location had an outbreak of the virus. So that's what we received commendation on, and we're glad to be able to say we're doing good work. So anything we can do to promote that is always good, and we're glad that that's appreciated by our peers around the state.
Alex Doty of the Ottawa County Road Commission, thank you very much for joining us today on Talk of the Town. Look forward to chatting with you again later on this summer.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much, Alex Doty of the Ottawa County Road Commission on WHTC's Talk of the Town. CBS News is next on the hour.